The American economy is the envy of the world, with a GDP in 2022 of $20.89 trillion. To put that in perspective, China is next largest at $14.72 trillion, followed by Japan with $5.06 trillion. What's unique about our economy is the role of consumer spending as a primary driver of economic strength. U.S. private consumption accounted for 68.1% of its national GDP in 2022, which brings us to the point of this video. One should never understate the power of individual spending, and as a group, retirees are big contributors. For this reason, we think it's important to look at the economic value of pensions in any calculus of their worth. What would retirement look like without them?
Tina, what do you want to buy?
Hi, Susie. Thanks for taking my call. I'd like to buy a Mercedes E550.
It's about $1,400 a month. That is true. You are denied.
Oh,
I want to get a Louis Vuitton Tivoli PM bag.
So denied. So denied. It's not even funny. I'm going to deny you again.
I would like to buy a study abroad in Iceland. I want to go to the famous elf school in Reykjavik and get a certification as an elf spotter.
Here's the thing. I'm denying you.
All kidding aside, 13% of Florida's workforce are public employees, and they represent a measurable piece of the economic pie. And when they retire with a pension, they'll continue to pay taxes and spend money. Financial pros agree. Retirees with a pension are better spenders in their retirement years.
So let's talk about some of the households who spend more right now. Are there trends there? What are they doing maybe differently that gives them a different feeling of confidence to spend more when, those retirement years, let's face it, some people are getting no income at all or very little income.
It can seem a little scary to spend down our savings. And what we find is that those who have, for example, pension income, if we were to estimate the equivalent savings value of that pension, we find that those who have a pension spend significantly more than those who have the same amount of wealth in investment assets. So in other words, people just tend to let their investment assets sit. They don't actually spend them.
In 2008, the National Institute on Retirement Security published the first A Better Bang for the Buck report. In it, they calculated the efficiencies of a DB system compared to a DC system and found that the DB plans offered significant cost savings for plan sponsors. In 2012, NIRS released Pensionomics, a report that's updated every 2 years that measures the economic impacts of pension plans on local and state economies. This is what Executive Director Dan Doonan said about that report in a 2021 interview.
Let's start with pensions. Is the system, so few Americans still have pensions, I think it's less than 10% now in the private sector, but is the system secure? Is the Pension Benefit Guaranty Corporation up to snuff?
Pensions remain very important economically to this country. In 2018, we saw $600 billion in pension benefits paid to almost 24 million Americans. And this supported $1.3 trillion in economic activity and supported almost 7 million jobs. So I know a lot of employers today ceased offering pensions, or newer employers may have never offered pensions. But we still see a lot of retirees relying on pensions. And, protecting the pensions we have and honoring those obligations are really important to retirees in America.
The most recent Pensionomics report was published in 2023, and it shows pension dollars are still impactful. Federal, state, and local pension benefits in Florida paid $130 million in tax revenue in 2020 and supported more than 116,000 jobs that paid nearly $6 billion in wages and salaries. Pension benefits multiply in two ways. Contributions to the plan multiply due to investment earnings over time, and they ripple through the economy as the paid benefit is used to spend. Each dollar in a pension benefit paid to Florida residents ultimately supported $1.40 in total output. So, when trying to put a value to public workers' pension benefits, Don't forget to count the economic activities these retirees bring to the same communities where they worked and still live.